They haven't met a war they won't sign up for, and they haven't met a veteran they won't screw over.
Well, damn. Jon Stewart came out with one incredible speech after Republicans, of course, once again did something incredibly cruel, voting to kill a bill to improve health care for veterans that have been exposed to harmful gases while they were in the military. You really can't get lower than this. All the money these people approve for war, approve for defense contractors, won't even take care of the people that are in the middle of all of that. And of course, this has been an ongoing issue. Veterans health care has been an ongoing problem. And Jon Stewart has been at the forefront of a lot of that. And I'm telling you, I'm going to show you, big chunks of this speech. It is an incredible speech. And it also gives you a little window into how Democrats could be fighting if they actually knew how to fight. So before I get to the first clip here, let me first set it up so you know what this fight is all about. This is over the PACT Act, so the Promise to Address Comprehensive Toxics Act. So more on that here. The measure is the culmination of years of work by advocates to improve health care and benefits for veterans suffering injuries from burn pit smoke, Agent Orange spraying, and other military containment exposure. It has been widely celebrated as a potential landmark legislative victory in veterans policy. Yet, the GOP voted to block it, which is interesting considering they did vote back in early June, to approve it by an 84-14 vote. But on Wednesday, after technical corrections sent the measure back to the Senate for another procedural vote, 41 Senate Republicans blocked the measure, leaving its future uncertain. So there's a lot of speculation right now in terms of why they did it. That speculation appears to be all around the fact that Manchin came out yesterday that he now has agreed with Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden to pass some sort of legislation around climate change in terms of the reconciliation bill. But that's a separate discussion. But looking at experts and their view on that so far, it really doesn't do a whole lot. But just that promise alone, that, oh, Manchin's going to support this reconciliation package, that apparently meant that Republicans had to now take veterans' health care hostage and vote against this. Now we'll get to the other explanation that they're using, one that Pat Toomey is using. I'll show you that and Jon Stewart's amazing response to it. But first, let me start with how his speech began. And again, look at the approach here. The way he's on the attack. This is how Democrats should be messaging this issue and other issues as well.
So ain't this a bitch?
Yeah. Yep.
Ain't this a bitch?
Yep.
America's heroes who fought in our wars, outside sweating their asses off, with oxygen, battling all kinds of ailments, while these motherfuckers sit in the air conditioning, walled off from any of it. They don't have to hear it. They don't have to see it. They don't have to understand that these are human beings. Do you get it yet? You know what? I said a curse word and I'm sorry about that. That was my fault. Let me say something beautiful. This is a tweet from Senator Rick Scott of Florida from yesterday. It's beautiful. And I'm sorry about the cursing, and let me say something beautiful to make it up to you. I was honored to join the USO today and make care packages for our brave military members in gratitude of their sacrifice and service to our nation. And there's a beautiful picture. I wish you could see it. He's standing with a little package. Did you get the package? I think it has M&Ms in it and some cookies.
Didn't get it.
And some moist towelettes. I don't even know, honestly, I don't even know what to say. I've been coming down here 10, 15 years. I'm used to the hypocrisy. Christina Keene will tell you from VFW. She sat in an office with Mitch McConnell and a war veteran from Kentucky, and he looked that man in the eyes and he said, we'll get it done. And he lied to him. Because Mitch McConnell yesterday flipped.
That Mitch McConnell impression is perfect. Now, I got more clips coming up. I'm telling you, this speech is, you know, we have to understand there's limitations to a speech in terms of what a speech can do. But I'm going to say right now, I think this will get passed. And it will be largely because of Jon Stewart's involvement here. Because of his ability to highlight this issue, highlight their obvious hypocrisy. I'll get to Rick Scott's tweet in a second here. Highlight their obvious hypocrisy and just their obvious and overt cruelty. So when you have someone like this who has great relationships with veterans groups, and obviously this act will help them, and him calling it out the way he is, and him, you know, with the profanities, and he gets to more of those, like, all of this shows the real anger behind this, that he is representing in terms of how the veterans feel about this and how they consistently get screwed despite being on the front lines for the never-ending wars that America gets into. Now, on the Rick Scott tweet, just quickly here, this is what he was referring to, talking about how, you know, he's honored to join the brave military members. And here's the image with the care package here. Oh, look how kind Rick Scott is. And then he goes and votes against veterans health care. Now, quickly, I'm going to link this below the video. So in case you want to know who exactly, if your senator voted against it, I'll link to this below. This shows you exactly who voted against the PACT Act. Now, Pat Toomey. So we get to the Pat Toomey part of the speech. So Pat Toomey has come up with his own reasoning for why he's against this. I just want to give my best Pat Toomey impression here, with the money coming down behind me. Look, I even got his freckles, but it's acne in my case. Look at that stress acne right there. All right, so let's get to how, or what Pat Toomey is saying about this. So he has come out to say that Congress must protect Veterans Care Bill from being used as vehicle for massive unrelated spending binge. Yes, Republicans very concerned about unrelated spending, yet the party yesterday just approved what I covered with the Bernie Sanders speech, the CHIPS Act, which is just a blanket giveaway to massive corporations with no strings attached. And of course, the never-ending money, and Jon Stewart gets into this as well, the never-ending cash that is given to defense contractors with no idea where that money went. I mean, the Pentagon recently, this came out a few years ago, just like lost billions. They have no idea where it is. Just, it evaporated. So this is a, you know, to pretend you care about spending when it comes to, again, an issue that will actually help people. Like, this is the only time they care about spending. It's healthcare, it's you know, public school, it's anything that will actually benefit people's lives. That's when they come out caring about spending. But here you have Jon Stewart speaking out against this bullshit.
Senator Pat Toomey won't take a meeting with the veterans groups. Sends out his chief of staff. I'm used to the cowardice. I've been here a long time. Senate's where accountability goes to die. These people don't care. They're never losing their jobs. They're never losing their health care. Pat Toomey didn't lose his job. He's walking away. God knows what kind of pot of gold he's stepping into to lobby this government to shit on more people. I'm used to all of it, but I am not used to the cruelty. These people thought they could finally breathe. You think their struggles end because the PACT Act passes? All it means is they don't have to decide between their cancer drugs and their house. Their struggle continues.
This bill does a lot more than just give us health care.
Gives them health care, gives them benefits, lets them live.
Keeps veterans from going homeless, keeps veterans from becoming addicts, keeps veterans from committing suicide.
Senator Toomey's not going to hear that because he won't sit down with this man. Because he is a fucking coward. You hear me? A coward. Pat Toomey stood up there, Patriot Pat Toomey, excuse me, I'm sorry. I want to give him his propers. I want to make sure that I give him his propers. Patriot Pat Toomey stood on the floor and said, this is a slush fund. They're going to use $400 billion to spend on whatever they want. That's nonsense. I call bullshit. This isn't a slush fund. You know what's a slush fund? The OCO, the Overseas Contingency Operations Fund, $60 billion, $70 billion every year on top of $500 billion, $600 billion, $700 billion of a defense budget. That's a slush fund, unaccountable, no guardrails. Did Pat Toomey stand up and say, this is irresponsible, the guardrails? No, not one of them did. They vote for it year after year after year. You don't support the troops, you support the war machine. That's all you care about.
All right, so I have another clip coming up, but man, that last comment especially is just evergreen. You don't support the troops, you support the war machine. That's how Congress operates. It's about the corporate donors. In this case, it's about defense contractors. Another case, when it comes to issues of healthcare, it's about the insurance companies. It's about the pharmaceutical giants. You can apply this thinking to every single issue because that's the reality. Congress does not care about people. They care about who their corporate donors are and where they may get a job after they leave Congress. It really is disgusting. So obviously Pat Toomey's reasoning is bullshit. Caring about a slush fund. Like the amount of money these clowns approve for corporate giveaways, yet money here going to healthcare to help veterans, even just veterans, still won't approve it. Like, a lot of these issues could be addressed through a single-payer healthcare system where everybody's guaranteed healthcare, free at the point of use. But, of course, that's a little tougher to get through Congress. You're not getting even Democrats on board with that one, except for a few of them. But in lieu of that, you have this very directed approach to healthcare for a very specific group that Republicans claim to care about, and clearly they don't give a shit. Now, quickly, before I get to the last clip, just a bit more on the OCO that Jon Stewart brought up there. So the Department of Defense has received approximately $2 trillion from the OCO since 2001. Were it considered to be a federal agency, the $70.7 billion provided for the OCO in fiscal 2020 would make it the fourth largest, dwarfing spending at all other agencies except the DoD, as well as the Department of Health and Human Services and the Department of Veterans Affairs. So that's how massive this slush fund is. It would be the fourth largest in terms of a federal agency if it was a federal agency. And Toomey approved that. He was on board with that. But when it comes to directed help for veterans, he's against it. Last clip here, and Jon Stewart ends on just an incredible high note.
Boy, they haven't met a war they won't sign up for, and they haven't met a veteran they won't screw over. And now they say, well, this will get done maybe in the after we get back from our summer recess, maybe during the lame duck, because they're on Senate time. Do you understand? You live around here. Senate time is ridiculous. These motherfuckers live to 200. They're tortoises. They live forever, and they never lose their jobs, and they never lose their benefits, and they never lose all those things. Well, they're not on Senate time. They're on human time, cancer time. This is an embarrassment to the Senate, to the country, to the founders, and all that they profess to hold dear. And if this is America first, then America is fucked.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely incredible. An incredible speech. And that comment there about how these MFers live to 200 through tortoises, which in the case of Mitch McConnell is literal, but incredible. This speech had everything. It had anger, it had emotion, it had comedy, it had facts. It showcased how cruel Republicans are. And just, this is how Democrats need to learn to message. Now, some of it I get is a little tough to do as a lawmaker, talking about how the Senate is just all, a bunch of bullshit. Even though it's true, it's a little tougher for a sitting senator to say that. But you have here the kind of angle that Democrats need to take. And ultimately, you have to be genuine. I mean, that's the issue with a lot of these people, right? Is they don't actually care. So you have the occasional person like Bernie Sanders And I say occasional, but it's like just him that actually is genuine, that actually does care, that has a long record of these sorts of speeches, but on the Senate floor. So you have someone like that, but a lot more Democrats, I don't know, at least try to fake it. Like, if you care about doing even the bare minimum, which is usually all they do, then at least bring the fight, bring the anger, bring the emotion, bring the comedy if you can, or maybe don't try if you're not funny. But it really is, it showcases I think it will showcase just how much a speech can get done, because I do think, largely because of the attention that Jon Stewart's bringing to this issue, I do think this will get passed. So we're going to have to see, hopefully sooner than later, but man, what an absolutely incredible speech.